I'm also interested in this. I know you're working on a story on Nathaniel Watson, the linebacker from Mississippi State. You heard Andrew Berry talk about him, and ever since Berry's press conference, I've been intrigued. What did you find out about Watson?
Yeah, there's a few things that stick out to me. The intelligence part. And what struck me when Andrew Berry talked about Watson is he said we envisioned him calling the plays at some point. And I don't remember Barry saying that about many rookies. Maybe I forgot about it. Maybe he said it about JOK. But that stuck out to me. So I asked his coaches about it. One of his college coaches at Mississippi State, his high school coach, and they raved about his intelligence. He's got a master's degree. The coach, his linebacker coordinator coach from Mississippi State is now at UConn, is the defensive coordinator. And he told a story about in 2020, all the Sam linebackers got hit with COVID. They couldn't play. Watson was an off-ball guy at the time, had been working at Will and Mike, and they took him in the parking lot the day before they played Georgia and taught him how to play Sam. And he said he was great in the game. They held Georgia to 8 rushing yards. And that just speaks to how fast he can pick things up. He said he can call defense from without a problem. He notices the smallest things that can make on-field adjustments, like at the snap of the fingers. So that impressed me. And then, he had a couple of issues that showed up in the pre-draft stuff, right? He had a drag racing thing in high school, and then a suspected DUI in college. And his high school coach said the drag racing thing got blown out of proportion. Nothing ever came of it. And he raved about the kid, said, hey, he could babysit his kids anytime. And then the one at Mississippi State, I called down. He did kind of one of those programs. It got wiped from his record. And I was talking to him about it, and he said, hey, I learned that you got to be really cautious whatever you do. He said, all the teams asked me about it. I gave them the right answer. And he leaned into my tape recorder and said, I have a clean record, Cleveland, clean record. So he really comes across as a good guy. He says that, he learned from the mistakes. And I just think he's a guy that can fit in this linebacking core. And maybe it's not right away, but at some point you're looking at a guy who's, could be a starting strong side linebacker, maybe even the middle for this team.
Well, remember the last time they went mid to late rounds at Mississippi State, they came away with Martin Emerson Jr. So same side of the ball.
Yeah, and they're buddies, and they've talked since the draft. And I asked the Mississippi State coach about Emerson, and he goes, he was good. He goes, I didn't know he'd be this good in the NFL. He goes, I wasn't sure if it would translate to the level it did, but it certainly has. And he raved about, the character and the work ethic that Emerson had. And just, that's two guys that it's going to make the transition easier for Watson having a friendly face, in that locker room.